Hello everybody, welcome back to Media Trip. My name is Jason Triplet, and today I want to talk about something that's been really bothering me lately. You know, in 2016, 2017, fake news really took the limelight, got exposed for being probably a lot bigger than it was, but then you also had the people that were taking great advantage of it, especially with the whole politics thing. But you know, it wasn't only surrounding politics, and unfortunately the new Nintendo Switch has fallen victim to a couple of unfair fake news stories, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Now, full disclosure, the controller sync issue, I don't believe that's fake news because I've actually experienced it. With that in particular, I was playing in console mode. I was sitting on the bed with the Joy-Cons attached to the controller attachment, and playing Legend of Zelda. Just suddenly the left controller stopped responding, and I actually had to disconnect the controller, resync it, and then it was good to go, and I haven't experienced it since. Now, I do play primarily in tablet mode, and that could be why I haven't experienced it as much as some other people have, but the fact of the matter is I did experience it, so I believe that to be true. Now, your next one, this is the big one, this is the biggest story, was that the Nintendo Switch was somehow getting scratched just from normal placement in and out of the dock. Now, I believe this is complete and utter garbage. Let me tell you why. Because we're just going to discount the fact of how many times I've placed my own system in and out of there, both without and with my new screen protector that I have on there. I have not seen the issue, not even a smudge. If you take your screen into direct sunlight and kind of hold it at a tilt, you can see any small abrasions. There's not even a tiny one. But let's just talk about all these events before the system came out, the pre-release stuff. You had events everywhere, Tokyo and New York, etc., etc., and hundreds of people at each of these events putting this system in and out of that dock repeatedly. Now, you know that this was a big part of the demo, showing you how easily you can pick up your game and go. And you can imagine how many times those systems went in and out of the docks. Nobody, not the visitors nor the people running the events, saw this issue pop up. So, of course, Nintendo is taking the stance that they're really not sure what to think about this, because none of them have seen this in any of their testing, in any of their demos. There hasn't been a huge number of confirmed reports like there are with the controller sync issue, which, let's face it, there's a lot of people that have complained about that, but not a lot of people have complained about the screen scratching. Now, what you're looking at here, these two pictures are the only two pictures on the net that I can find to offer any corroborating evidence that the screen is actually getting scratched by the docks. Now, if you look at these pictures, and I'm going to leave each one up for quite a few seconds, but you can see one of them, the scratches aren't even in the direction that the system goes into the dock. They're almost horizontal. And the other one, the scratches are really deep, almost like they took a knife or a key to it, and you'd have to really jam that into the dock repeatedly, probably to get that kind of a scratch on your display. Look at how good that shows up outside of direct sunlight. Now, I could be willing to believe that there would be light abrasions like those that I'm talking about, where you would actually, with the light reflecting off the screen at a certain angle, you would be able to see those scratches, and it's happened. I had a Samsung touchscreen before the whole smartphone revolution, and those touchscreens were plastic. Now, I do believe that the Switch is a better quality plastic, but my Samsung, for example, after a good year and a half, 2 years of use, there was a nice scratch pattern, kind of like right there in the center. Any of you have had these type of phones, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It just kind of looks like a smudge or a blemish. Now that's the type of scratching that I would have anticipated seeing along the sides of this screen. Not these gouges that look like they just took whatever sharp around them and went to town. I mean, this is not true. Come on people. If this was true, you'd be able to look around, you'd be able to see people's switches scratched up all over the damn place. The back isn't scratching, the front isn't scratching. It's not happening. These two examples, could they have been created to boost views, subscribes, and in effect revenue to these people's YouTube pages? I'm not putting anything past anybody anymore. I just don't see any other corroborating evidence that this exists other than these two pictures, and just from what I'm seeing here, this does not look like something that the dock is going to cause. Period. So until Nintendo comes out and addresses this directly and says it's real, or until a bunch of cases of this start popping up and saying this is real, I'm calling this one fake news. Okay, people? Fake news. It's already the 19th of March. This thing came out on the 3rd, and if people's screens were getting scratched up, we would see it. We'd see it right now. It's not happening. And you can see what all these people have been doing to their systems. I've been putting the screenshots up here. You can see the goofy little methods people have gone to try to prevent the dock from scratching their screen. Stop it. Take that crap off of your dock or your system. It looks ridiculous. You don't need it. If you're really nervous, just get a little screen protector. I got a little $7.99 officially licensed screen protector. Put it on mine, not for the dock purposes, but because I have a 2.5-year-old. And, I mean, that's going to help you. You don't need tempered glass, for crap's sake. Tempered glass is really only good to prevent shattering of the screen. You could hammer this screen and it's not going to crack. So that's a waste of money. So, scratch screens, fake news. Let's just drop that and move past it. And we're going to move right past it into the newest controversy, and this one just came about a couple days ago. And now, I don't believe that the original person that reported this knew this was fake news at the time. I believe that this person was merely confused about what was happening at the time. So, you can see this user here, Sosowski or whatever, from Twitter, had posted a news story saying that his Nintendo Switch got so hot that it melted his micro SD card. Now, just right off the bat, I already know this is fake. You don't even have to get into the details, because SanDisk makes high quality cards, okay? Now, they did have a problem with one of their cards that caused something like this to happen, and that is documented on their website, and I believe that card has already been long recalled and replaced. You also see this issue pop up with bootleg cards that come from China, notorious for getting them dirt cheap on eBay or Amazon. And a lot of times those cheap memory cards you see ships from Hong Kong, and those are bootleg people. And yeah, they might melt. They're probably not gonna, you can't rely on your data to be on there. If you were a professional photographer and you took photos that you value and kept them on a memory card like that, you're stupid. Now, of course, a Nintendo Switch isn't anything as serious, but, you know, you could lose your saves, or, you know, who knows? I mean, it could even corrupt inside the memory card slot of your system, and, you know, I don't know. It's not worth it. But let's just go to the core of this. They said that the system got so hot that it melted the memory card. Now, as a Samsung Galaxy 7 owner, I can tell you that the Switch gets nowhere near as hot as my phone does, and the phone does not melt anything. Sometimes it feels like it's gonna melt my leg, but it gets hot, but it doesn't melt the memory card. Okay, the Nintendo Switch gets maybe a third as hot as my phone. And there is just no way, even if the memory card was seated right above the processor, I don't see that, folks. I don't see how that could be possible. I mean, with the heat sinks that we've seen on this circuit board, the heat is very well dissipated and cooled. And I mean, obviously, if you have a Switch, you have felt it doesn't get that hot. It gets a little warmer in console mode than it does in handheld mode. That's because it's pushing a little bit more power, but it's still only about a third as hot as my Galaxy S7 gets. Okay, so there was an update to this story, and I don't think this guy anticipated this to blow up as big as it did. You know, yeah, he thought he had a scoop, and he was probably excited about, you know, getting a lot of subs, but then people started calling him out on this, and he had to really look at the facts at hand, and he has since deemed this fake news. So it came right from the source, folks. This one is fake news. Your Nintendo Switch is not going to melt your memory card. Don't even worry about it. It's not going to happen. So we know that the screens aren't getting scratched, and we know that memory cards aren't melting. And so now we're just going to sit by and we're going to wait and see what other kind of stupid story is going to be concocted out there by people who hate the system for whatever reason. Maybe they're upset with how the Wii U turned out and they feel burned. Or maybe they just hate Nintendo. Or, you know, who knows? Who knows why people do these things? And sometimes they're accidents and sometimes they're not. It's really hard to tell with these two cases. But you know, you sitting right there, you know this is going to happen again. And it's up to you to use your better judgment and common sense and your own experiences with the hardware to be able to tell the difference with what's real and what's not. Let's stop giving these people views and subs. There's some of us out here that work hard for it, and we're willing to go the extra mile and do the footwork and check on stories. You know, do the research to make sure that you guys are as well informed as you should be. So that's it, folks. You know, I just had to get that off my chest. I had to share that with you guys today. And let me know what you guys think. You know, go down to the comments. Tell me your own experiences with the system. You know, have you had scratches? I mean, I doubt it, but have you? Let me know. Am I an idiot? Go ahead, tell me. I've just not seen it. And I mean, obviously none of you are going to come in here and say that the system is melting your memory card, because I just don't even see it getting as hot as to melt a decent bootleg card. This guy in question had left it sitting in a drawer for over a year or something. He said some kind of excuse, so there's really no telling. But come on, people. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share this with your friends. Let's get this out there. This is fake news, and we should not let this affect the momentum that the awesome Nintendo Switch has. Stay tuned, because I'm going to keep up to date on all these, you know, flashpoint stories that come out. I'm going to give you the real scoop. Got great stuff coming soon. So stay tuned to Media Trip.